Tonight, we're moving away from Batman one time to talk about Andrzej Żuławski's On the Silver Globe. Originally filmed from 1976 to 1977, the same year as America was about to be taken by storm by Star Wars. The Polish authorities suddenly stormed it on June 1st and seized the film, ordered it destroyed, and all the costumes and sets which had just been made destroyed as well. Members of the crew kept as much of the film as they could hidden, and in 1985, Żuławski was finally able to go back and start editing the old film and adding extra footage and narration to cover the fifth of the film, which had not been completed at that time.
Film sprzed 10 lat. Strzęp filmu, 2,5-godzinne opowiadanie, któremu brak 1/5. Ta 1/5 z 1977 roku, gdy film unicestwiono, nie zostanie odtworzona nigdy.
He shot streets and crowds in Poland and narrated scenes that would have been there if he had been able to finish them. And in 1988, was able to show On the Silver Globe at Cannes. On the Silver Globe was based around a trilogy of books by Żuławski's great uncle, the Lunar Trilogy, written in the pre-Soviet era from 1903 to 1911. The trilogy has been hailed as starting the polar science fiction genre. It revolves around an expedition to the moon, which goes horribly wrong. After the rocket crashes, killing the captain and the doctor of the ship, leaving the doctor's fiancé and two men who fight for her affection.
Tak. Ty umierasz, bracie. Przecież we wszystkim, co mówię, jest prawda. Skoro umiem ją wypowiedzieć. Wolność.
Luckily, the moon has limited oxygen and water, so they're able to survive, creating a new generation of humans called the Selenites, who are physically stunted due to incest and lack of resources, and who also age and grow much faster than on Earth. They also create a religion that posits that a savior is coming to bring them back to Earth one day. However, the moon is already populated by strange telepathic winged beasts called Sherns, and for centuries, the Selenites and the Sherns war with each other. The Sherns also realized they could rape Selenite women, creating a race of human Shern hybrids.
Ty jesteś zwierzę i ja. Ja jestem zgodny, ty nie. Ja jestem odbiciem tego, co w tobie. Ty nie jesteś odbiciem tego, co we mnie.
Finally, another astronaut named Mark arrives on the moon. It is assumed that Mark is the long-lost savior, who might be able to finally defeat the Sherns and bring back the Selenites to old Earth. Andrzej Żuławski tried to adapt all three of his great-uncle's books into one long film and succeeded in getting two of them mostly finished on screen before the Polish authorities shut his filming down. On the Silver Globe has been called the greatest science fiction film that never was. It's actually not even totally clear why it was stopped. The Deputy Minister of Culture for Poland stopped the film. It could have just been a show of power. He was seen as the most likely candidate to be the new Polish Minister of Culture before dying in a plane crash in Bulgaria a year later. But others have said it was just too subversive or too religious. Mark, the astronaut, is literally crucified by the Selenites at the end of the film. On the Silver Globe was supposed to be the biggest Polish film ever made. It cost 58 million PLN. And the filming was famously fraught, including Żuławski stealing a hand from a medical school to use for the crucifixion scene, an actor catching on fire, and Żuławski just continuing to film. The filming process has been compared to Apocalypse Now, starring Andrzej Severin, Jerzy Trilla, Iwana Bielska, Jan Fraisk, and Krystyna Janda.
Zaś mały dramat tego filmu i wielki, oby szlachetny dramat naszego życia będą splatać się dalej we wspólną sieć wzlotów i porażek. Nazywam się Andrzej Żuławski. Jestem reżyserem filmu na Srebrnym Globie.
Before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open. If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, which I'm obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Our show gets simulcast, or if we're not on it at regular time, played later on This Space. This Space is a working class independent media collective, youtube.com/ThisSpaceTV. Subscribing really helps out, or even more, sharing content from This Space and encouraging others to do the same. By working together, we can break through the algorithm. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. Conan Neutron is the co-host and senior producer for Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Protonic Reversal, an independent Film Critics of America film critic, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Check out his music at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Renee Ruin is a blogger, writer, host of the Night Shift podcast, head of Ruin Agency, and her work can be found at reneeruin.com and patreon.com/Renee Ruin. I, of course, am the host of the Sherncast, Forrest Miller, here on the old Earth.
You are an animal and so am I. I am consistent. You are not. I am a reflection of what is in you. You are not a reflection of what is in me.
Fantastic. No notes.
What do you think? I made myself blue. I don't have a green screen.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm on the moon. I have that stuck in my head, just that beat of the on the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
Just dancing like this.
Yeah.
I was gonna go blue jacket, but I broke my blue bow tie that would match with it, so I went with red instead to contrast. So I'll be the only one that is not in the blue this time. Welcome back, Renee.
Hello.
I think this is going to be the second ever podcast of On the Silver Globe. Yeah, this movie is absolutely crazy. So I can say, why don't you tell us about how you discovered On the Silver Globe, and then I'll go after that.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I actually found it through, I guess, obviously everyone who knows me or has seen me on even this podcast, I love Possession, right? Mm-hmm. So when I found Possession, became obsessed with Possession, and then obviously went back and forward, looking at everything I possibly could with the same director. And then, yeah, that's how I originally came across it. And the first time I watched it, I was like, holy mother of fuck, this is cool.
Natural reaction. Yeah, absolutely.
And I've watched it, I don't know, I can't even say how many times I've watched it since, and every single time I watch it, I find more things in it, or it blows my mind even more, and there's more shit that like starts spiraling out of my brain from it. So it's a movie that's stuck with me for a really long time. And then recently I watched the documentary Escape of the Silver Globe.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, wow, I forgot about how good this was. And then, of course, I reached out to you guys and was like, can we do the Silver Globe?
And I've wanted to do it for years. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah, we can. Because it's so unique and strange and bizarre and like so forward in many ways. And also like a crazy, almost cautionary tale of filmmaking that is very big, like going really big, especially if you say don't have like a huge Hollywood budget and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what this episode's going to be like, but I'm sure it's going to be interesting, just like the movie. For me, I've got an interesting one that when I first started up on Letterboxd, shortly into the pandemic, after all tours were canceled and whatnot, I was the only login stuff. I had like my separate account that I like posted everything to, and I can't remember if it was on Letterboxd or on that Instagram account, but some guy who just like followed me and liked the kind of stuff that I liked also was like, hey, have you seen On the Silver Globe? I think you'd really like it. I'm like, I don't know what that is. And it's like, oh, it's the same guy's Possession. I'm like, oh, I love Possession. So I'm all about that. And
one of those cinephile deep cuts on Letterboxd, I think, that has like a small but like incredibly like passionate following.
Well, the two movies, and so I saw it and I loved it, but like in that same way of like, oh my God, what did I just watch? Like, what was that? This is crazy. And then one of the sort of bonding moments with me and friend of the show, Marta Jovovich, Marta McFly, was World on a Wire and On the Silver Globe. I'm like, oh my God, you like these two incredibly bizarre, niche sci-fi movies that are like for complete freaks? That's amazing. You know, no one likes that.
I remember when she first came on, like it came up a lot in our conversation.
Yeah. And so that was like that blew me away. That's like you find your people kind of thing. Because there's so much here in the story, but just like the circumstances.
There's no way in this episode. There is absolutely no way in this episode we can even touch on like 50% of what goes on in this film. That's a preface for everyone who hasn't watched this film.
Well, we have. I mean, we're gonna try with the. We're gonna out the old plot summary.
We're gonna give it a big college.
We're gonna do our best as we always do. And anyone who's seen our now classic
I do notice in at least the Wikipedia one. I have not checked out the IMDb one. It disposes of the entire. It disposes of the really like 2/3 of the movie in like a very short like paragraph, and then the first third of it, you know, like just the first astronauts arriving on the moon and like attempting to colonize it and realizing they're like way in over their heads, and you know each one kind of just dying or whatever. Like that part of it gets a long like treatment on Wikipedia, and then the like the entirety of everything that happens in the 2/3 of it, like the part after that. It just gets like a paragraph and disposed.
Well, we'll do it. Good job. So what I was gonna say is just like how we did our big deep dive on Possession, which I am unfortunately told may or may not have started the boulder rolling down the hill for this alleged remake that is in progress, and we are deeply sorry for that. But we're not sorry for doing a great episode on a cool unhinged movie.
I mean, just like a lot of people have watched our episode on Possession.
Yeah. Which is great. I mean, that's very flattering. And so okay. So I said before we were going to start, because we were talking about remakes and like, they're talking about remaking this too, which is absolutely insane. Like it would have to be like a series, I think, at this point. And I say that as someone who prefers movies over series, but there's just too much. There's just too much to cover, as evidenced by a complaint on the plot summary. We haven't even started yet, but this is one that I actually think would be a great example of a biopic of the making of it. And I say that even before I saw the documentary, where I was like, wow, like, because I knew that the thing about like him like writing the monologues and like handing it to him like the day of and things. And that's just, it's strange credulity that any of this would happen. But then when you have like such amazing visuals, this is such a visual movie. I mean, I could see this becoming like popular in memes and stuff like along those lines with the right circumstances, because there's so many just like, whoa, what am I looking at? That's crazy. And like ahead of its time too. again, this is Star Wars. It's getting made this same year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So,
And it
which
would
is-
have been the first. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure somebody out there will take the documentary and go, actually, but it's kind of considered like one of the first major European sci-fi.
right. Well, because there's the Tarkovsky Solaris, right?
Yeah.
Too, but that's 72, but that's Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, the source material itself is pretty much widely, thought of as being the first published sci-fi
Yeah.
publishers. So, like, it's
his,
not only
it's Żuławski's great uncle who
Correct,
who wrote that.
which
Jersey-
that as well. Like, there's so
Jersey
many little facts and tidbits in this whole
It could
story.
just be
that
that. Yeah.
like that goes down a rabbit hole, and I feel like those things are what like make this film even more incredible and why it can't be remade, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you. And
Like-
he put a lot of his own thoughts and feelings, just like with
Well,
Possession,
it's-
into
yeah,
it as
and
well.
it's literally his
kind of
blood.
a lot of the same thoughts and feelings because it's the same divorce. He's going through his gorgeous model.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'd make a couple movies
Yeah.
about that too.
When you think about the when Possession happened, and then what kind of like he's come from this, right? He's come from
Yeah, this
everything
comes
that- and
before
then-
Possession. Yeah, you're right.
with Possession he films after everything turns to shit, and he goes away, and he's going through the divorce. So it's like Possession is so angry and like aggressive and violent. There's so much going on in that film, and you can clearly see that a lot of Silver Globe is carried over from that.
Yeah.
He's this amazing project, this passion. He's spent 600 days of filming, and they only did 80% of the film. And then being told 2 weeks before it's going to be finished, 2 weeks they had left, that's it. No,
which is really like it's the Polish Soviet authorities really like shooting themselves in the foot because this movie, if it had been finished, would have been so massive, especially like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Poland not being known. I mean, Poland has like some great directors, but like it's not known as like I think this could have taken
not on this scale. Like
into like a real film hub because it's like it's the Hollywood grandeur, and there's no real like what really pissed me off about the documentary. Like what really pissed me off. There's no reason like the reason that this fucking guy, the deputy culture minister, who they had some defenders in the documentary, which was kind of weird. Like he had his like subordinates. I mean, rest in piss or whatever. He died from Żuławski putting on a jacket that was cursed. So I love that so much. But I gotta play that. I gotta play that clip later because it's so funny. But no, it's like there's no rhyme or reason. Like he's just like, I'm gonna put the film industry under my boot, and I forget the name of the other director.
I saw that in your intro, and I was like, I have to tell Forrest, because there's also like talk as well that the deputy, like, so he did not get along with his boss, right? And he was replacing the boss. He made the decision to cut this film the first day he took office as well, mind you.
Right.
And they said it was a bit of a kick in the ass because he fucking hated his boss. And he wanted to kind of kick the boot in. And so it was kind of like a more of a, what do you call that? Like a competitive, I don't know. He just hated the guy and kind of
like a
thought,
flex.
A flex, yeah. That's like, who knows whether that's the truth or not, but that's a lot of the kind of like talk is around,
So, and just to give some context, because remember, he starts filming this like June 1976, right? So basically, it's not that there isn't genre picture. Sci-fi is, like whatever. Close Encounters is only like about a year away, right?
Yeah.
But especially Empire, we talked about that. We did Close Encounters earlier this summer, but you have things like Logan's Run, right? So the worst case scenario is that you for Silver Globes ends up being a cult movie like Logan's Run, where it's like, oh yeah, it made money. I mean, it like doubled its box office, but it wasn't like a huge monoculture hit. But it was like it was coded for the youth in revolt, nascent punk rockers, what have you, to be like culturally important in a way because it challenged ideals and things like that. Same thing, Man Who Fell to Earth, Nicholas Roeg too, says also came out that year, same way, right? So in a lot of ways, if you think about the sliding doors of it all, right? If he'd able to get it done, like the worst thing, the worst outcome for it would be like this incredible cult movie that, you know, attacks religious hypocrisy and like all these like high-minded concepts, and, you know, would come across as like, look, man, I'm not a hallucinogenic person, but I'm sure it would be wonderful and or terrifying to do hallucinogens and escape.
Well,
Silver Globe.
I barely made it through this film on an edible. Like I watched it edible. Let me tell you, I watched it at least twice under the influence of edible. And let me tell you, I suggest people do it because it gave me something else. But like seriously, the film is like it's a hard slog. You got to lock in. It ain't fucking around. There's 3 hours. You can't like. You cannot look away for a second or you're going to miss shit. You know what I mean? You're going to miss everything. Like, you need to be completely locked in to watch this film. So don't try and watch this film when you're not in the mood or whatever. You need to.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to say before we move away from the you know, the shutting down of the production, Wajda, who's like, you know, was like that biggest
he did Blood and Diamonds. It was on my Criterion Challenge this year. Like he's very notable.
I feel like it's definitely but Wajda was Żuławski's mentor, essentially. Like he was his second AD on like a bunch of his films in the 50s and 60s. And then I think with The Devil and like a bunch of other, like, you know, movies like that, he kind of moved away from Wajda, but he was like untouchable essentially. And the whole thing is that the culture ministry got like very upset about Man of Marble in 1977, which is his movie that, like, you know, is an inherent critique of like Soviet, Polish, you know, the kinds of workers that are in there, and like you know, they showed workers slacking off and destroying shit rather than, you know, working hard. And they even had like, I think that they had the guy, they had a guy that looked just like the culture minister too. So they were like kind of they were really getting close to that line. But he couldn't shut down Watch This Thing because he was like an Oscar-winning director at this point, and he was huge. He was like internationally known. So, but like he could fuck with Żuławski. He's like, I like, because he's just he's like big, but he's not that level. So like a big part of shutting everything down is like, well, this is someone at least that I can bring to heel that is also you know, I mean, mentored by Wajda, but also like kind of a renegade filmmaker. And what they really want is to bring those renegade filmmakers to heel. Because it's like, you know, it's
you get them in line, right? Yeah.
And this was a time too, I reckon, like this was a time too where, you know, government was funding films and like it happens, but not in the same level. You know what I mean? I feel like they had so much more involvement, and like governments and like bodies and stuff were actually, you know. Like,
but that's why Man of Marble was such a slap in the face, is because the Polish culture ministry was the one, and they, like, you know, they believed that it was going to be this like high-minded Soviet style, you know, like workers propaganda film, and it turned out to be the opposite of that. And it just you know, and so it was this real slap in the face for the culture ministry, and of course the deputy culture minister was like angling real hard for the you know, the main culture minister's job. And he's such a, like, when you look at him, he's such a slug looking character too. It's like he is somebody that, like, just by his face and those giant Coke bottle glasses, it's like you want to this guy.
So that's what I'm saying. Rather than attempt to remake On the Silver Globe, make a movie about him making the Silver Globe and like all of this intrigue and craziness, because people would think, you know, it'd be like the freaking Confessions of a Dangerous Mind or something along those lines, where people would be like, whoa, this is nuts.
And it was also like, there's just these, I feel like in the past couple of months I've been going back and like going crazy in like all of these international, you know, world cinema from like 60s and 70s, and it's actually like, it's kind of infused me a little bit, like really like giving me oomph about like cinema. Just, I miss when films were like greater than a film, if you know what I mean. And I feel like we've lost that. Like, we're more about like entertainment, and there's nothing wrong with entertainment. I love a good film that's just for entertainment, but like films like this is like, I don't even know, it's otherworldly. Like, this is about something much bigger than just a film.
I think also like just the invention of I mean, not to sound like a Luddite, I guess the invention of like CGI kind of made it a lot harder to like do something like this because it's expected to be done with CGI. Like your world building is expected to be done with CGI, and it's so much harder to kind of create. Like when you watch the documentary, they put mines out on the beach and they blow up the whole beach.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it doesn't even make like it doesn't necessarily even make. I mean, I guess it does because this is the first time they're kind of being attacked by the bird people. But it's like you don't know that at the time, and it's like. The beach is just—that's
what I'm saying.
The moon beach is just exploding, like
the practical effects of it all. Putting those telephone poles, burying them in the sand, and going into the caves and what. I mean, this is like it's crazy. The making of this is as much of an adventure as the actual movie, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, but it mirrors the film though. Like the actual,
absolutely.
You know, when you're looking at looking at the like you said the props, the locations, the costumes. The crazy shit that goes into the dialogue, like all of this stuff that compounds it is just as physical and grueling as a film itself. Like,
well, and you said earlier, well, hold on, let me get this in because it's not going to be time for it later. You said earlier, you got to pay attention, right? This is definitely not a second screen entertainment. Is that what Netflix calls it, right? Like you have to be on this movie's vibe, and if you are not, you might as well turn it off. But like if you stay locked into it, it's like at no point ever is it boring. I mean, it is a wild. It's like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. You're just like, oh my god, what are we doing now? What is this? Okay, and everyone's got these crazy monologues, and everybody has these back and forths that are just like so momentous, and like it's like okay, now we're dealing with religiosity, but also
everything is epic.
Like everything in this movie is epic. Well said. Yes.
They dispose of the Sharon City in 3 minutes or something.
Which is crazy.
Like I made the mistake at one point of looking down for a second.
Don't.
You can't.
I do, for the show, like I always take notes, which then I never check my notes. Like it's a really bad habit. I always just go in with a notepad and then take a bunch of notes and then never end up checking them again. But at least I remember stuff when I do that. Like I feel like it's rote memory.
Yeah.
The idea when you write it down, it kind of reorients your brain to think about it differently. Yeah.
I mean, even if I do it on my phone, which I think you don't remember it as much, but it still kind of works that way. But no, it's when I looked down for 1 second, and then he's like in the Sharon City, and I was like almost done with it with like bazooka or whatever, and I'm like, wait, how the 30 seconds ago he was on a boat? Where
there's rewinding. There is you need to there is rewinding in this film because if you miss half a second, you're like, what the fuck? Whoa! And it's
I'm lost.
You have to go back.
Rewinding and reviving in this film.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Marta. That's right.
When you type in like facts about this, the AI summary thing or whatever, which I don't really I don't really check, but like sometimes I'm like trying to find something really fast while we're doing this. A lot of it is linked to Marta's podcast.
I mean, this may be the second podcast ever to cover this movie. As far as I'm concerned, the first one would have been Marta McFly's. Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen like little like sections, like 5, 10, 15-minute sections of like one person being like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I've never really seen two people like
I don't every once in a while there'll be like an Instagram carousel that just has stills from it, like you'll never believe this, the lost movie that was never made.
Oh no, it was banned and like
I saw one that was like, you'll believe why this film was banned for 11 years. Yeah. All right.
I mean, it's pretty horny. It's pretty horned up.
It was also like, I mean, it's also like we can talk about that a bit later, but I mean, the sex and violence in this film is like.
Yeah,
there's moments
that's epic too.
Yeah, and let me preface this by saying there's no love in this film. The only love bit is literally when the astronaut arrives and she's pregnant with her fiance. Say goodbye at that point because there's no love after that.
Forget
it. There's also like I don't know exactly how to.
There's a lot of rutting.
There's like Żuławski. What I was trying to like pronounce it perfectly, and it's like it's Żuławski essentially, but I'm like I can't, I'm not doing that. But they're like put an F in there. I'm like I'm not. I'm not doing that.
I'm
No,
not
but so Żuławski basically has this thing that like he does these contortions across multiple films, and it's like it's definitely here, like similar ones to Possession, like you know, just in different scenes, like especially like the sex scene with you know, between Mark the astronaut and you know his bride or whatever. Like there's these contortions that I remember seeing in Possession, but also in The Devil. Basically his ex-wife you know acting and Possession's obviously about his marriage, like you know he's the Sam Neill character and his wife is the Isabel Ashby character, and so it's like, but in The Devil his wife is acting and does the same body contortions Isabel Ashby does in Possession, which is like it's just crazy to see that across things. So it's like I don't know, like do you measure that out? Do you like
right, because when you first see Possession, I mean, look, it's his most commercially available one. You know, it's the one most people tend to watch first if you're not from Poland, maybe. But like then you're like, oh, these are like just traits that in his directorial style that like show up in other films, you know, and that's wild to think about because there's something so unique and unremakeable about Possession that you know it's hard to imagine that like any of those stylistic trademarks would show up in other movies, but they totally do.
Yeah, they do. I think because I think whether you like each of his films to some degree talks about you know it's sex and the politics of sex and dominance and power and status, and this film probably goes in depth into those aspects much more than the others, but in a kind of more unflinching, uncomfortable kind of way that you can't look away, and it is quite confronting. There are scenes in this film with the like when it comes down to kind of like, you know, even the reproduction, the birthing scenes and stuff, like it's very violent.
Even that's epic.
One thing I want to say with this, you know, pull it up a screen. I was fascinated. I mean, I'm so used to the image of like the Possession and like later era Żuławski, where it's you know he's fat, he's a little fatter, his face is fatter, he's old, he has like the jowls, he has the gray hair, and I'm so used to that be like in my mind, right? Like, because I've watched a lot of his interviews at random times, and so it's like you know, especially the ones at Cannes, and it's like so I'm so used to that, and it was so fascinating to see like how handsome, like he was miles above, and they don't even like hide it in this. They're just like, oh no, like he did not look like a Polish person, and it's like, what is? But then you see like you know, all these Polish faces throughout it, and it's like, and then he's I don't know, he's like
suave, he's got the like you know he's got like a look that and they're like, what, you think you're better than us, you know?
But there's the one quote where he's like, you know, he wore like amazing clothes. He spoke French more than he spoke Polish a lot of times. He has this suave thing. He has this beautiful girlfriend. And the guy is just like, he was like E.T. And I was like, E.T. That's out of all the stuff you came up with E.T. That's the
that's what you came up with. Oh, hey, Emo Dragon. Thanks for joining us.
By the way, first heard of Possession from the show.
Fantastic. All right. Well, that's good to know. We're doing the work.
So did the guy from Smile.
So did Parker fan. Exactly. Yeah.
I fan. Do like, there was like
not a patron, but a fan.
Yeah. They had a I don't know, like shit post or something somewhere, like a meme where they were like, oh, the reason that Margaret Qualley just divorced her husband is that she was getting ready for Possession.
Method acting. Yeah. Check the other room for a tentacle. Thank you. Tentacles, everybody. Possession. Watch the movie. It'll make more sense.
No, but it's I don't know, like there are these like through lines through all of this stuff where it's you know, like his obsession with like kind of creatures. There's something like, so I kept thinking about like, because it's in our banner folder, the Skeksis violence, like something about the Cherns are very like what Jim Henson would come up with for the Skeksis, like that kind of bird, but it's like not even bird. It's like, it has its own, I mean, it clearly has its own like lineage or evolution or whatever. Like it's clearly not like a bird, but it also is a bird, which I think in the his great uncle described it more like demonic, like it wasn't supposed to be in his book. Which obviously, you can do whatever you want, you can adapt things however you want. And I'm not, but it was less. I think it was less birds and more giant black winged, definitely bird was in there, but like black winged demon, like demonic entities.
It seems like to me like how Terry Gilliam would depict those kinds of things. Yet. Except for Holy Grail, this came before any of those Terry Gilliam was. Like it has like a Time Bandits-esque nature kind of to it, like and especially with camera work as well. And it's fascinating. It's like this was before there was that. I mean, he wasn't doing that in Holy Grail. He hadn't developed that until the 80s.
What about the I was when I was rewatching. I've rewatched it again last night, by the way, and then watched some of the doco part again for the second time this morning. And one of the things I clocked it but didn't clock it, really think about it too much. But obviously one of the astronauts is filming, right? And apparently, like if the film had have come out when it was meant to have come out, it would have been one of the first sort of like films of that time to have found footage in it, and to have something filming, and have even the way they shot him filming himself was something that hadn't really been done before. Apparently, I think Cannibal Holocaust was the next film that had that kind of footage.
That's right. And this is years before like your Blair Witch projects or anything along those lines, right? Yeah. So that's another thing. And again, when I first watched this, I definitely was like, oh, look, a lot of Peter Jackson stuff, especially the early stuff, like that was like more low budget. But this is years before that also.
Yeah,
so he's doing
and
all
also
of that.
And not only that, but this is in Poland. I think people forget, this is not like some big.
Yeah, it's not LA. It's not like
English, whatever. This is Poland, right? And if you're one of those people, and you're definitely not one of those people if you're watching this podcast, but there are those people that don't like watching world cinema and all of that kind of stuff, and you're missing out, because seriously, there are films out there that, and this is definitely one of them.
Absolutely. And, there's a lot to be said for, the Polish New Wave, Krzysztof Kieślowski, and like all the stuff that happened like in the late 80s and 90s. But even in the earlier stuff, I mean, I forget the director's name. I'll have to look it up real quick. But the Cremator is an incredible movie. And that's a from 1969, Gerard's Hers. It's probably butchering that. But like it's a dark comedy that's sort of like about, so it's this guy, he's like a cremator of the dead, and he basically becomes radicalized into the Nazi party. And it's funny. It's funny. Yeah. I mean, like you hear that description, like say what? But it's really funny, but it's like super dark. It's very expressionistic. It's a part of that new wave like was happening at the time. And it's interesting that like we have well, I guess he's Czech, I'm sorry, but like it's the same, whatever, Eastern Bloc, get over yourselves, everybody. But like but the thing was mentioned earlier, mentioned a couple of times, like his the one who he worked with, like his mentor, Wajda, like Conan, the one that I've seen is Ashes and Diamonds, which is the last one. These were like pretty controversial movies. Like these were like movies and then also became controversial in a different way when they, cause it's about like, stuff that's like places like the Warsaw Uprising. And then when there was the revolutions of 89, right? That like people got mad on the other end of it, because after the fall of communism, people were like, oh, you're making like, you're not depicting this like how it actually was. So it's like, you couldn't win either way. Politically, like if you like made anything abjectly political. But he used a lot of these films to express complicated ideas about things that were important to him, as well as things that were important to the people of Poland through the narrative of these war pictures, which is probably something that Żuławski was like, oh, I'm all about that, because apparently everything is like him trying to work through religiosity, trauma of having to leave his wife and kid.
Just like a lot of it is to do with the self, and I think that's as well. Like this film was not and that's in all of his films pretty much. But this film is, it's not an easy watch, and it's not easy to comprehend. And I think so you got to kind of there's so much philosophical stuff going on here, and there's it's a whole meditation on humanity, and there's just so much going on in this film, and you can go on for endless I can't even put it into words. That's how many.
What do you guys think about? I'm trying to make sure that I say it right. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
The Velichka salt mine of it all, where it's and that mine apparently is located right outside of Krakow. So it's a big part of where the Polish variety of the Holocaust took place too. But it's that there's something very Apocalypse Now.
It's also got these winged beasties running around, and
yeah, I want to say it again. Velichka. That's apparently how you say it. I listened to the guy say it on Wiki, but I was kind of really fascinated by the description of that, because I understood it's a large open space. It's essentially a mine. I kind of got that, but didn't really process that was a real,
a real place that had history to it.
Yeah.
And that, which is just crazy to think about, but that's because it's Poland, it's there's a very rich history there that some of which they tried to erase through media, and then a different set of people tried to erase it, so it's that
one guy, I think he was an actor. I don't think he was on the crew. But the one guy that was down there, he might have been, if I'm remembering, he might have been the guy that doesn't trust Mark. He's the guy that's this guy is not this Brian is not our Messiah. That guy, I think, he had that I haven't even really heard of this, but he had such a crippling nicotine addiction that. And you can't smoke down in a mine because it's still a working mine. You will explode if you try to smoke a cigarette. So they were doing those 9 to 12 hour days of just shooting down in this mine, and nobody was allowed to have a cigarette. And this guy is just going out of his mind because he's I want a cigarette so bad, freaking out. And he's still and when was it? I think it's 2021. The documentary came out, so it's he was still very animated about that 5 decades.
Yeah, exactly. He's not over it.
So many of the actors and just the crew in general carry extremely, these stories on for the rest of their lives about what they went through on this film. After it ended, there was quite a few crew members that went into extreme, had depression, went into mental hospitals and shit, because the extreme work as well, no sleeping and extreme hours, and
it was so Apocalypse Now. That really is. If you could compare it to one American movie, it's Apocalypse Now has to be the
which is similarly largely shot on site, practical physical locations. And
although I think Coppola would have literally blown his brains out if they had stopped him from finishing it.
Oh my god,
he almost did more than once while making Apocalypse Now. I imagine they're if they were all right, we're shutting this down, he would have just been oh, guess we lost Coppola.
We never would have had Megalopolis.
We're never gonna have our fantastic wine cellar.
Exactly.
The chaos, the chaos behind it, obviously, in the personal relationships, the logistics, the time, the money, the politics. The film, throughout it, especially when you watch the doco and you hear all of the stories, the film itself begins to resemble the civilization that's depicted in the film itself.
That's right.
They had this, a really ambitious utopian project, and it just gradually collapses under its own weight, which is essentially a big part of the film itself. That's why this film can't be remade.
The 1970s was peak for that kind of dystopian sci-fi, right? So it would have been something where I think it would have struck a larger chord, big time. On one hand, because of the incredible visuals and all the filmatic pieces that we're talking about, the practical locations, et cetera, but then also, this idea of it being this very salient critique of religiosity and governments and self-governance and just being kind of chaos goblin about it. You know, Jack. That's right. Forget about Jack.
Yeah, it's the very message, I guess, the very message that he was trying to tackle. You know, this kind of, I guess, very depressing, like that. You know, no matter how we try to escape what we are, we keep bringing that shit back with us. Like you go to another planet to escape that, but what ends up happening is that you end up, all the things you wanted to leave behind, you actually brought with you. And I think
teaching them to your weird little half-breed children.
Yeah. But it also happens with the creation of the film itself, in a way.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's something you can't replicate.
Well,
everything in the film
at the same kind of time as this too, like. And I doubt Żuławski had you know, I mean, obviously the book came out, you know, way before. I wonder if it did inspire Frank Herbert with Dune Messiah, like in 1969, right? That's like less than 10 years before this. He's writing like I feel like there's similarities between kind of the idea of like this messianic religion that kind of springs up that has like pretty much like 90% of the similarities to, you know, religions that we have now, but has like these quirks to it. And I feel like the religion in this, that's like a mixture between like what these, I mean, they're like Polish like cosmonauts too, so it's like it's not,
well,
I mean,
he wrote this also in like 1903.
Yeah
like that's another thing to remember.
He's writing between
like 1901 and 03, I think. So it's like
he's writing this
and
at
also,
the same time as L. Frank Baum is writing like Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that's how far back this goes.
Like we're getting like Wizard of Oz stories, and you know, the Polish are getting like people went to the moon and had inbred children, and the inbred children have more children, and everyone, and because of the atmosphere, there is air and there's water, but you grow mad fast.
And it's crazy. And I think one of the reasons why, as a story, and we will get to the plot summary such as it is, I think one of the reasons why the story kind of hits differently is because it comes from that. I mean, you know, this is pre-Depression. This is like assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. I mean, this is like, you know, like this is a different world than what we're used to for speculative fiction, other than Wizard of Oz. Really, I mean, I can't think of anything that's like been adapted that would be more, because even Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe is you know, C.S. Lewis's stuff is like later on. Tolkien, same way, you know.
That's the same time, right? Like it's the 30s and 20s and 30s. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's like, I don't know, but it's also like in the meantime, I mean, you know, like we went to the moon. Between, you know,
right.
Like, you know, and we were able to walk in the moon to see what's there, and it's like, but it's amazing to see what like some random like very smart, like he wrote a whole lot. Jerzy Żuławski, like he wrote a lot of stuff that wasn't sci-fi, and like, you know, he was constantly writing, and Andrzej Żuławski's father was also like a prominent writer. It was like, and that's what he was going to be, I think, if he wasn't a film director. But I mean, I'm glad he was a film director and not a writer. But there's enough Żuławski writers apparently running around Poland. But no, but it's fascinating to see what like a guy from that period believes it would be on the moon, because it's like, you know, we didn't even know, like for all he knew in like 1903, you know, they're really like, and because of, you know, I mean, you look at the moon and you look at like the dark side of the moon, the shadows and stuff, like you can completely see why someone who's writing like kind of a speculative science fiction story would be like, what if those are like demonic birds that are up there? Like, what if
I mean, why not? Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into the plot summary such as it is. Understand that we're going to be probably stopping every other sentence or so.
Yeah.
And then what we will do is we will also suspend, which is my thing, is attacking the plot summary writer, because in this case it's like they're doing a service, is doing it all, right?
Anyone trying to write the plot for this movie, like I applaud you for trying.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can't rip anybody for like giving it the best shot here.
Yeah,
exactly. Give the best effort.
In the prologue, in the far future, 2 researchers are resting in a derelict palace, which is also occupied by a tribe of indigenous people. Kind of. A horse rider brings the scientist technological item, which he says has fallen from the sky in flames. Already there's I mean, I don't. It's not
okay,
but there's such an interesting blend of like in my head at least like Siberian kind of like this like when you go to like an archaeological museum and you see like the old kind of Siberian like half Russian half Native American, because kind of like the Bering Strait is obviously where Native Americans came across, so they had a similar culture up to like a point. It's like their costumes in the beginning of this are like halfway between Native American and like Siberian in my head.
Right, it has that feel. Yeah, agreed.
And then you got that desolate, like the building that they're in, and it's shot really widely, so it's very barren, and like. But also, one of the things I noticed when I rewatched it again last night was like I was staring intently at the building, but like the roof, it's got that kind of like Parisian, like like the painting and the like little like all of that detail in the ceiling, and it's so out of place, but like contrasting to the indigenous people and the guys, and then it's kind of, but it makes sense.
It's just there's so many like when you think about how fragmentary everything is, right? Like they're getting they're getting old Earth culture, but like in such a fragmentary kind of like just deeply strange way. Like everything in this movie, it's like it's been it's like you're looking through one of those refractor glass things where it's like you see like the light or whatever, and it really changes because it's going through this like glass thing, like prism. That's how I feel about like the religion in this, the architecture.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's prismed out for sure. I mean, it's a feature, not a bug, right?
The scientists realize it's an old, obsolete, small transmission module. And in their underground laboratory, they find it contains the video diary of an astronaut whose spacecraft crashed at least 50 or 60 years ago.
Okay, so this is where we're getting, like we got like the backstory here of like, okay, so like these...
And the guy's like...
They came from somewhere else.
The guy's like...
Yeah.
There's like sounds in this that I didn't even like know like a human mouth could make. Throughout this part. There's just something like the indigenous people in the beginning, they have like it's like a mixture between like a grunt and a squeak, and I was like,
it's like
and I was doing it with like I've come to the conclusion that like I've I don't know, either my ADHD is worse or I have like autism or something, but it's like when I hear like weird sounds, like I end up like not even thinking of it, just trying to make those sounds with my mouth while like sitting there and then realizing I'm doing that. And there was like multiple times in this movie where I was like making the same sounds that I saw in the movie, and then I was like, "Oh, that's me doing that." Like,
should be a linguist.
In a lengthy flashback, that's one way to put it. A group of distant astronauts crash land on an unnamed Earth-like planet after escaping from a degraded and vaguely dystopian Earth.
Okay, so in the book, of course, it's the moon, right?
Yeah.
Like, the unnamed planet is the moon, but this is happening in the 70s. We know what the moon looks like. People
don't look like this.
Exactly. You already have at this point. You not only have 2001. You have Arthur C. Clarke, right? Writing the sequel and what have you. And the idea of there being intelligent life somewhere else is very much in the zeitgeist. See, Close Encounters of the Third Kind that comes like the next year as being like one of the more huge examples of that.
And there's the I think it's a very proto version of it, but like the theory of like the Goldilocks planet.
Right. Yeah.
You could very much see that in this, where it's like they're theorizing that if they take the helmets off, they're going to be able to breathe. And it's like it's a very speculative theory.
Right, exactly. It's a very trusting theory. Yeah.
And this is like one of the parts where Żuławski's like over the top kind of directing of a lot of the stuff like works out really well, because I mean, of course there's the shots and they're very up close shots, which is the same thing he does in Possession and the same thing that he really likes doing, where it's people's faces and it's as if, and he has like the rationale, it's like found footage essentially. So you're watching through a camera, but throughout this whole thing, right, there's these really interesting, like right up against the camera shots, almost like you're watching like a nature documentary or something. And it's such an interesting like use of that. And then but the over the top kind of acting in this, even before they become the inbred half human, half God knows what else Skeksis. No, but like
Skeksis, yeah.
But it's like Deathlings or whatever. Like even before all of that kind of stuff melds together, it's like there's already this capacity acting, and it gets transmuted again through this prism. So it's like, you know, the guy screams at the Martha, the woman, like seems dance.
Yeah.
And so eventually, like, she's afraid of him. And afraid of him, and afraid of, like, you know, whatever. So she starts dancing, and then that same dance is transmuted through these people. Like even centuries later, they're still doing these same moves that she did on the beach that time, because her son sees it, and then he brings that into, like, you know, this is what people do.
Well, and that goes into the whole, like, them making new myths and new gods, and you know, turning, you know, rather innocuous things into rote and histrionic culture. Because the
more they pass it on, the more, like, crazy and far-fetched and distant from what the truth was it is. So
it already feels like that, because it's like, you know, we're looking at, like, this. I mean, it's supposed to be like the distant future, but there's the very kind of Soviet era sensibilities where it's like, I don't think religion is like this huge part of people's existence, you know, like behind the Iron Curtain or whatever. I mean, like, the people are still religious, but, you know, it's like I don't think that if you're if you're a cosmonaut, I guess is what, you know, more of what they would call it. Like, I don't necessarily think that that is like a huge part of your life. And so it's like these remembered fractal images of Christianity that get transmuted into this lunar world kind of.
Which is interesting, because the same principles are applied in the comedy sci-fi series Red Dwarf, with the cats who evolve into a human-like race, and they establish a whole religion around Lister, and, like, the room that he lived in with his cat that was the ancestor of their race and what have you. And so it's the same sort of thing, but it's done for, you know, comedic purposes. But this is very much not so here.
We also get and it hadn't come out yet, so it's not like he's inspired by it or anything. The whole the whole, like, a large part of this movie is the very life of Brian.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like everyone's like, he's the Messiah, and he doesn't even have a chance to be like, I'm not the Messiah.
Yeah.
Exactly what a Messiah would say.
Yeah. Like,
I love
the Messiah
they call him old man all the time.
They're like, the Messiah's gonna land in a ship, and he's gonna walk down the mountain, which is the only place you could really land with the ship. So it's like anyone that comes there, the second guy comes to the same exact spot. So it's like the big mountain, and it's like, oh, well, the Messiah, we're told, is going to land his rocket ship on the mountain and then walk down. And it's like, that's their big thing. And it's like, well, you did that. And it's like,
it's kind of hard not. That's what anyone's gonna have to do. I mean, it's like that's your parking spot on this planet, right?
There's I think it's a lot more homogenous. Well, the names aren't, I guess, because he keeps the names from the Lunar Trilogy, but it's in the original Lunar Trilogy, it's like supposed to be like a future where, like, a very Starship Troopers kind of future, where all the, you know, there's no, like, nationality, and like everyone's kind of from different parts of Earth, and whatever's happening on Earth, like they're all in this ship together. So there's the Irish guy is like the captain that dies, and there's like a Brazilian guy, and there's like, so it's like all these people from different parts of Earth kind of traveling in this like international thing. All right, so in a lengthy flashback, a group of distant astronauts crash land on an unnamed Earth-like planet after escaping from a degraded and vaguely dystopian Earth. One succumbs to his injuries shortly after. As a result of the accident, only 3 astronauts remain. A woman named Marta. That's why she likes it. That's why Marta McFly is so into this.
Oh, movie. Yeah. She exactly. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious. I didn't think about that.
And her co-hosts, Peter and Jersey, which Peter and George is kind of
that would be the analog, sure.
Communication with Earth is lost, and the survivors decide to settle on the seashore. Say that 3 times fast. And there they give rise to a new human race.
Okay, that sentence is doing a lot of heavy lifting, but
one of the things I thought is like, so was there a disclaimer? Did Marta sign a disclaimer when she got on this ship that, like, when we get there, y'all, like, any of the women, like, you're going to be in charge of, like, propagating this place? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like,
exactly. She know that was part of the deal.
Yeah, there was this little, like, interview with all the female astronauts, letting them know that, like, this is what, you know what I mean? Like, and then poor old Marta gets stuck with the lot. You know what I mean?
Well, the guy that the guy that dies that is getting monologue to for like 20 minutes while he's dying. And it's like,
There's a lot of monologue you do.
yeah, but he goes, "You're dying, brother." That's like one of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not what I want to hear. I'm just let me fucking die. And then it floods, and he's still like barely alive. He's like, oh.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
It's definitely not the mood. No, but like that guy is supposed to be her fiance.
Fiance, yeah, and she's pregnant with him, obviously. So it's like
He's not-
she's
I guess
taken. I'm thinking like there's all these women, who have.
They're polyamorous, I guess.
Yeah. No, but like they've obviously, that's a part of the mission, right? Is that like when we get there, like there's only, the women that are involved, like you're putting your body forward for the beginnings of the new thing.
I mean, it was written in 1903, to be clear. So,
Well, I'm just saying, like,
but Earth is also like Earth is somewhere between like Clockwork Orange and Mad Max. It seems like.
Yeah. It looks like it's a rough outfit. Yeah.
Like the guy just jumps on the motorcycle and he goes around in circles around the parking lot. That's like their entertainment.
Even like the image you've picked here for the podcast, I'm just like, it's like Rob Zombie mixed with Waterworld, like kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, if you had no frame of reference, you're like, what is this movie? Like, what? I'm like, brother, how long you got?
I will say though, Renee, there's something about the face of the girl with the eyes that kind of looks like you.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh.
It looks like that actor looks like you, like her face a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that scene, the scene with the eyes, and then yesterday, like I saw some people making comments about that, and like obviously Pan's Labyrinth and the eyes, and they're like the shot's almost identical when you go back and like look at it. I mean, I don't think that
really
it's in any way connected, or that like Pan, like that Guillermo will like this film even. I'd love to know if he liked this film.
Oh, man.
He's seen it.
Yeah.
Fan.
I'm always
like,
I also like it's interesting what I mean, like I don't know, this might have like some racial physiognometry, whatever you call it, like a connotation to it, but I'm always kind of, when it's like a Polish movie or something, like there's a facial structures in the like of a lot of the actors that look like people that I kind of like vaguely know, but then there's also people that look nothing like anyone I've seen,
anyone you've ever seen.
In a lot of
the actor character, that character is mesmerizing. For some reason, I feel like he's like Brian Eno in the 70s.
Okay, sure.
Else, like,
that's one of the ones that I don't like. I don't have like a what do you call it, like a analogy, I guess, in life that I've like seen of a person who looks like that. Like that's a good example of that.
Yeah, all I was thinking was I think it's like a Brian Eno-esque chameleon type guy. Like when the moves and the dance with she puts on lotion. She
the documentary though, where everyone's kind of older, I'm like, okay, this is like people have more recognizable faces as like older gentlemen than they did in like the 70s, where it's like, I don't know, like there's a craziness to it. Like I feel like the Mark guy looks like anybody you'd see now, but it's like when he filmed this. When he filmed this in the 70s, I feel like there's a kind of 70s guy that is always playing an astronaut for some reason. A movie that
right.
Well, there's like three of them. There's three of them in 2001: A Space Odyssey, and it's like
that's right. Yeah,
which all of them lived for like a really long time. But that look, I feel like disappeared at some point, and it was both American and Russian. But it's like, I don't know. If you look at pictures of like like the cosmonauts, like they have the same kind of thing where it's like. You don't see people that look like that anymore.
Right. That's interesting. I wonder what.
It's like a real distinguished kind of like.
Yeah.
I don't know, like specific look.
I mean, I'm sure. If you actually like talk to somebody that's like very into aesthetics or something, they'd say that we're all becoming kind of homogenized, and it's like that wasn't necessarily the case at that point. Like people
definitely not. At least in the Eastern Bloc, it wasn't. Yeah.
So that might be more of the case.
Later.
The actual diversity, I guess, of looks between people
that's right.
is kind of blending, which the same thing's happening with like accents. Like the accents people have in America are like blending together. There's no more like regional accents as much as at least there used to be.
That's right. Okay, so after the birth of their first son, Marta notices that the child is growing much faster than on Earth. That's an understatement.
That line though is great. It's great because I made sure to mentally. He's like, oh, this is a. It's only been 6 months, but he's the height of a 1-year-old. In my head, I'm like, how do you know? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, if I would see like a 1-year-old, and I'm like, I can't picture it.
that looks like a child, all right.
That looks like a child born between 1 and 3 years ago.
Yeah, nobody in this show has children, by the way. So every parent is now going to be yelling at their device about this. But sorry, none of us.
Well, I have this thing where it's like, because I've never really been around children. It's like whenever I see a child that can put a complete sentence together on TV or something, I'm like, wow, that must be like one of the smartest children I've ever seen. But it's
one of the smartest childs.
But I'm like, that must be a really. And then I'm like, no, you could they're like, oh no, that's like a 9-year-old. I'm like, oh, all right. Like I guess I have trouble. I have trouble distinguishing what the
you're age blind.
Yeah, well, just what the milestones are supposed.
People are face blind or age blind.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. In movies, they always make children talk like adults. Essentially, like they'll have a child soliloquying, and I'm like, there's no way they could do that.
That's KT's problem with most child actors. They have a dialogue that a child would never say, and that is a definite thing.
Later, the one child that talks to one child who gives Leo a mental breakdown in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Later, an unseen enemy kills Peter, and Marta dies in childbirth. Okay.
A lot of stuff happening on
there's a lot of shit going on. That Marta dies in childbirth. That alone, that scene.
Yeah, it's heavy.
There's a lot of shit going on in that scene. That's not just her dying of fucking childbirth.
And she already has like 10 grown ass children by then.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing else to do on this planet.
How much is this like? Are they running on like dog years, where like every year is 7 years or something?
Well, primary force of entertainment is all I'm saying. It's like
I still find it.
Ocean.
I find
it. How old is Marta? Like before she has the last baby, and she goes, I'm going to give you your last child. And I'm thinking, how old are you now? It feels like a really long time, but obviously it's like probably 5-6 years later after they
But she like several adults. Like, is time speeding up on this planet? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's not explicitly stated one way or the other. You're sort of left to figure that out on your own, which is bold move.
Also, all of literally after the first generation, every child, every person on that planet is inbred. So you're already getting like these combinations of genetics that are like.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
I'm pretty like full eugenicist this episode, but you're already getting like these combinations of like genetics that it's like. How much of the rapid cycle and strangeness of these characters is just incest that's happening between everyone because it has to, because everyone's kind of like there's only one woman, so it's like but it's like how much of that is that, and how much of that is the atmosphere, which you age faster in different like when astronauts go up to space, right? They can't be there for that long. Because of the fact that they ate, not actually, but their bodies rapidly go through the aging process.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like the inbreeding, if for example, the kid, like the first child is born, and he's not, he comes from Earth, so he's kind of like half. But then the other ones that are being born, each time they breed together, they're probably speeding up times 2.
Yeah. The last guy on the planet is gonna live a day.
It's like a.
He's like, I've had the greatest day of my life.
It's an aging multiplier. It's like a video game.
And that music too. It makes everything go even more fast.
Decades later, Jersey is in his old age, but has not aged as quickly as the new humans. The new humanity is now a tribe of several dozen people with whom he can no longer communicate. They're partially feral and view the old man as a demigod. So yeah, that's a lot to parse, even for just half of that. But it's there's a whole another generation.
He's not doing himself very many favors when he's trying to communicate with them either, though. It's
he's not trying that hard.
He's like, oh,
I'm gonna speak.
They're all like, oh,
monologue.
Yeah, and then somehow they transmuted to old Earth. I think in the book, it's he says, "Oh, Earth," and it's they're like, "It's old Earth. This is where we want to get back to."
Yeah. Before he dies, he sends a video diary to Earth containing recordings from handheld video cameras, which, of course, pretty advanced stuff for a story that was written in 1903. But
yeah, Witch Project.
Exactly.
Well, also the video camera lasted over for like 5 years.
Yeah, that's built to last. Definitely before the age of purposeful obsolescence. That's for sure.
Can you imagine how?
No charges.
I have to replace my phone every year and a half.
I was gonna say if you brought
Like
an iPod,
that SD card or whatever, like whatever he's working with there.
Yeah.
if you brought an iPod up there, your iPod would last like a week, and then it's like, oh, it's been through its year and a half.
So yeah, so there's a break here. I can only imagine that this is a break between one of the books. I have not read them, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I will say they are in English now, and you can get them on Amazon.com.
Oh, okay,
I want to read them
They
because
seem really good. Like
Yeah.
I was parsing through like the whole synopsis, and there's a lot more to the well, I mean, it's very hard to transmute this into a film and like
It would
build a
be,
full
yeah.
civilization. But this is essentially two of the books. The third one, I think they would have finished up. The third one, they're just like, we're trying to get back to Earth. They're
Right.
like,
Okay.
because that's the whole thing about the Messiah, I guess. Which it's a lot. The Messiah is promised because the old man is like wants to go back to Earth and wants to send the thing back to Earth. So all of the inbred weird lunar kids all get the assumption that they're going to go to Earth with him. So
Yeah.
they believe that the Messiah is going to walk down the mountain, and then he has a rocket ship, and he's like, I'm gonna like you won't
Take
have to
them.
worry about.
You'll all ascend into this greater place that is.
Yeah, but also they won't have to deal with the Shern, like the birds anymore that keep raping them. So it's like it makes sense why they would want to get off the planet, because the birds are like the
Did
Shern,
we mention this movie is nuts? By the way, this movie's nuts.
So what's up with them birds?
I mean, first time you see one of them, you're like, "What the what?
Yeah.
What is going on? What is this?"
But it's like reference that the birds rape people in the movie, but in the book, I think the birds are just always like picking up women and just like fucking them and then dropping them. Because and you see this, they don't really explicitly talk about it, but the deathlings are the half Shern, half selenite, which is they don't use the term selenite in the movie, but selenites are like the inbred human kind of things.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
like the offspring. Yeah. I mean, like it's and the thing that you're not getting with us explaining this stuff is the visuals of this kind of thing, where you're like, there's a whole lot of what am I looking at? What is that thing up to? Like, I mean, and the answer is normally no good, by the way.
And then and then like soliloquies that have nothing to do with what you're
And then just the whole monologues about that, like, wow, this is heady. Okay,
there's like these repetitive like things that I just find so fascinating. Like the repetitive I like whatever, like I am an animal. Like, but like I am not like of an animal, but we are the same, but we are not the same because I'm like an animal all the time. Like this was the assurance.
Yeah, I'm consistent. Like, you're not.
Yeah, I live honestly because I'm like an animal essentially, and you're only like like you act like an animal sometimes, but you're not really an animal. He's like, so I am of you, but you're not of me. And I did the speech. I mean, I did the speech in our when I did my intro or whatever.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like it's a Żuławski thing too. I feel like.
I feel that shows up in his other movies too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's obsessed with this kind of the notion of like me, myself, and the other.
He also tries to Reddit guy the tries to Reddit guy the Shern when he's like, I'm feeling a star, and he's like, a star? You think Earth is a star? And he's like, well, I'm trying to star. And he's like, you think it's a planet, bro? Like,
yeah, and
do that to the bird creature I'm tied up. He's doing the same thing as like the mentalist, where he's like, all right, I'm getting like
it's a name that starts with an it starts with the R, and I'm just staring at him.
It's a planet. There's a solar system. There's a galaxy. Am I right?
Yeah,
I bet I'm right.
Many years later, a planetary scientist named Merrick travels to the planet. When he arrives, the priests in power believe him to be the returning old man and declare Merrick to be the Messiah, who, according to prophecy, must free humans from the power of telepathic bird-like humans called Sherns, the planet's native inhabitants. Yeah, I mean, every word of that is what happens. that is in fact true.
Every rose has its churns. There's there's they kind of very slowly introduced the concept of bird people, like
to the point that you're like, is that just a weird dude? Like, what is happening here? Is like, what's this guy up to? And, oh, damn, it's like full on bird dude.
It makes me wonder if Dan Harmon came up with the idea of like the Birdman. It's like Rick from Rick and Morty is like best friends, like half man, half bird.
Yeah, well, that's the DC the DC character Birdman as well. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he Silver Globed at one point or another. Seems like the kind of guy who would. America accepts the role and leads a military campaign against the Sherns. So they're
because he thinks the Sherns are not like he sees the guy. Like, I mean, it's clearly like guys in costumes. Like,
like whatever, we can take these guys.
I felt really bad for the guy. Guy clearly didn't want to be there when they were doing the scene where he's splashing around in the water and he's in his bird costume, and they're like Żuławski basically used some kind of like charismatic hypnosis almost to be like, you will go into the water. And the guy clearly didn't want to go in the water. Like,
well, it's probably cold as hell. And he's like, it's going to be soaking wet.
Like,
yeah.
You want me to go to the beach so you just blew up and go in the water? Yeah,
that's exactly
also,
what
wasn't it cold when they were filming?
Yeah, I think that's why. I think
the temperature was also cold.
But he's in this giant, that giant bird costume too, and it's like
it's getting wet, and that's gonna really well. In that same way that like when they had the telephone poles buried in the beach, they had those dudes scuttle up there because he wanted to get all close shots of them, and so they'd scuttle up there and be like impaled through the butthole on these poles, and then like after they took their shots, they would like hustle back down and take like big drinks of vodka to warm up, and then they would have to go back for like more coverage, have to go back up the poles again. And do you see what I want to pitch this movie about the making of this movie because that's hilarious.
The filming locations in this are kind of insane. Of course, Crimea is part of this. They're in Crimea at one point. The desert of Pustina, I can't even pronounce it. Pustina Blauska, the Polish desert. I guess I didn't know that was a thing. But then they go to the Caucasus in Georgia, the Gobi Desert in Mongolia.
The Gobi Desert is where all that, which has yet to show up in any of these synopses, I might add. But what an evocative visual that is! Talk about the dune of it all, right? I mean, it's like, oh man, this is like
in my head, like I don't know, like I always feel like in my head, I'm like every desert is like either Arizona or like the Sahara, but. Then I remember the Gobi Desert. That is not like the Gobi Desert's more like it's way farther up than anything like that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, and usually you can high versus low desert, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, they're very different kind of deserts, and it does look very otherworldly in the same way that like Joshua Tree does, right? Where it's like if you've never been there, you're like, what planet is this? I'm like, it's Southern California.
Yeah, this is crazy. I'm looking at locations or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the Gdynia City Beach. That's like the beaches that they were filming on for a lot of it. But it's like it's so interesting with people on it, like just regular people on it.
It just looks like a beach. It looks like people's having a day, right? And it's like, oh man, it was a wild ass dude.
There's a whole lot of shit going on.
It looks like an alien war happening here.
If you're based in Gdansk, I'm not based in Gdansk.
That's the closest stop. Oh, here they are. They're having a beach day.
It's Brighton Beach, but it's
watch for the Sherns.
It's like Brighton Beach, but it's just the actual Polish one instead of like the Russians that just hang out there in New York City.
I imagine like a Tim Robinson bit that has that like pastoral beach scene. Then you have like dudes dressed up as Sherns coming in, just like wrecking the place, like knocking over the beach umbrellas and whatnot. Oh it's a bunch of Sherns.
They're actually indigenous. That's their beach.
Yeah, it's their. They actually have a right to be there. It's their land. Stolen land. Back on Earth, we learned the reason America was sent to this planet was because his actress girlfriend was sleeping with a fellow officer.
He gets cuckolded, which is a big thing for.
I'm like, Żuławski.
Yeah, more cuckolding. Yeah, I know. It seems like it's a common theme.
He's very frightened about that. He's like, and like, because he felt. I don't even think he did get cuckolded. Like, but like he had.
But it was like, but if I did, it would feel pretty bad. I bet. Let me write multiple movies that have that as a plot point.
I mean, I found that documentary going into his mental state, like his son going into his mental state, so interesting.
Yeah,
because it's like they had broken up, and then the real cuckolding for him was that the guy stayed and had no interest in making movies. Like, while his, he's like, he has this really hot model wife, and he's like, I'll hang around the house and like help take care of the kids. Unlike your husband, who's like, now stuck in France, so he can't come back to Poland. And it's like, he's livid about it, and he's like, that guy stayed, and it's like, yeah, but you clearly weren't going to, like, even if you were in Poland, like,
like Żuławski, like I feel like he's like, so like someone could make just a whole movie just about him and every film.
Oh yeah.
Like he's like insanity and like kind of like the way he is, I almost feel like is very much
it made so much more sense. Right. Made so much more sense that everyone's like, oh, he was just like the most handsome guy in Poland. And it's like, and it's like, okay, that makes a lot more sense why this guy is like this. Like,
and of course his lady is like just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and he has to like leave the country for
like
again. All of this will be in my screenplay about the making of this movie called The Silver Globe, which maybe I'll pitch that to Adam McKay. You'll see what he says.
Everybody on the crew looks like a potato, like essentially, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
He's wearing like this bright orange, like French French jumpsuit or whatever at one point, and everyone else looks like, I don't know, like 19th century peasants, and like
they're getting ready for their potato. They're getting ready for their potato allocation. Thank you.
But no, but he's like a foot taller than them too, which has to add like such insult to injury. Like, that's why it's why they're like, this guy's like ET to us, but it's like that's
right. Yeah, of all things to say,
I laughed so hard.
You couldn't pick a hotter alien, okay?
Like as a guy that's had like a friend, like close friends that are like incredibly like handsome and like kind of arrogant about stuff, like knowing some of those, like, I don't know, I just laughed so hard when the guy's like, yeah, he's like ET to us, and I'm like, that's not what he looks like, but that's amazing.
Okay, so actress girlfriend is sleeping with the fellow officer. They wanted to get rid of him to continue their affair.
Such like just direct cuckolding too, because it's like, you're his actress girlfriend, really?
Okay, yeah, it's real, exactly, real subtle there, bud. Okay, and cool, but is that super relevant to the plot? I guess. I mean, I guess that's why he's here, but like it does seem a little bit like, all right.
It comes out of like, kind of like the shot back to you. It's kind of
I like that the guy.
It's weird to spend time on that. Yeah.
I like that she ultimately sends the guy to the planet to help out her ex-boyfriend, but he gets there too late. I like that. He's like, I'm here, and the guy's like on a cross, and he's like,
too late.
They're like, you're the Messiah.
At first, the humans succeed and capture the Shern leader, Avius. Good name for a bird creature. But the subsequent landing in the Shern city ends in disaster. Certainly does. That's one way to phrase it.
They create like the massiveness of the Shern city, but it's only for 3 minutes.
Yeah. It's like
he runs in with it, and he has like a rocket launcher at one point. He's like running into the Shern city with a rocket launcher.
Consider how much time spent in the car in the middle of the desert and like running around in the cave monologuing. You think they could spend a few more minutes on the Shern city
in the salt mine?
Yeah, exactly.
I think
interesting decision.
I think Christina's creating Shern City right now on The Sims.
Yeah, exactly. So that is one of those. You have to pay kind of close attention to this movie.
There has to have been
into it.
There has to have been probably more that he was going to shoot in the Shern City, though.
It probably one can imagine that was footage that.
But also, it's like they're living in like I kind of felt bad for them. They're living in like huts, and they're like, there's like a city over there.
Yeah, an actual city.
At one point, and then they get there. Like, I think like they don't show it because I think another thing that they probably would have shot if they had more time. But it's like they get to the Shern City and obviously get slaughtered by these bird creatures. Like that's their first contact or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like they're living on the beach in huts, and they're like, dude, there's like a city over there.
Yeah, you don't have to live on this beach.
Like a really big city. Like
we're living in these shitty ass huts and just like
I saw a city over there, and there's a lot of there's nests. I see some nests.
Well, yeah, they're thinking that, and meanwhile, like they're doing Send Help with Rachel McAdams and Sam Raimi there in space.
That, but like with eyes on their
right, sure, yeah.
They're doing the Guillermo del Toro Send Help.
It's important to note because we have not mentioned on air that
I thought that was
that was good. That was good. That was good. That was solid. I didn't mean to railroad you on that. That scenes that he did not get to finish, they're replaced by him going around the city and telling you what he would have shot.
Would have done, yeah. That's exactly I was going to.
I am very handsome. I am.
So if you haven't watched this film and you don't know, like, if you haven't watched the film and you don't know any of the backstory, you're probably going to be like, "What the fuck is going on?
Why am I in a subway suddenly? Like, what's happening?"
Yeah. So suddenly, and then you hear the director's voice telling you essentially, this is what was meant to be shot in this part of the film, and he kind of like tells you. So that's kind of also
I got very distracted by the Polish people going down the escalator.
Yeah, on the escalator, like it's kind of a weird detour throughout the film as well, because you're watching all.
Maybe it was French people. I don't know where he ended up shooting, because he lived in France by that point. I know, but I think it is Poland. It's like it
is Poland, yeah. Like he went back and got like B-roll. Essentially parts of
all Polish people's faces, and he thought that would be less distracting somehow than because at one point he goes into the woods and it's like I can pay attention to what he's saying, but the second he goes down the escalator, I'm like, this guy's interesting. Like, look at this guy.
When I first watched it, I thought the visuals were. I was like, oh, is this important to the story somehow? Is this like the world back on Earth and we're supposed to pay attention? No, he's just literally running around the subway. Okay.
Yeah, okay. He's just
he didn't get to shoot.
Which is kind of a weird. It's kind of a weird, like comparison that you suddenly we got modern Poland.
Right. Yeah. It's very jarring. After being
as modern as Poland will ever.
But it's also kind of voyeuristic. In there's something enjoyable. To me, there was something enjoyable about watching that and actually hearing like that side of him discussing what this should have been and that should have been, and like. I kind of felt like I was on the journey of the film with him, even though.
Yeah, some of the stuff. It's like, all right, now imagine like a rocket hits.
BTS before there was BTS.
I think it works though because it's so dialogue heavy, and there's this visual intensity that happens for so long, and everyone's monologuing to this one, this one's monologuing back to that one, and then suddenly like, all right, so this is what it would have, and you're like, whoa, hey, so it's jarring, but like in a way, it's kind of a break.
It is hard.
Just breathe up for a second. Like
there's certain moments where there are things that I'm like, I really wish I would have enhanced the experience to actually see that. The rocket ship crashing into the mountain is a perfect example. Or he didn't get to shoot. I mean, it's not like obviously it's not his fault. Like he didn't get to shoot Mark actually coming down the mountain and like the monks. So and I feel like that would have like you wouldn't just be thrown into this thing where it's just like, oh, all right, now we're on a battlefield. You would have had more like space to actually watch this kind of ascension down the mountain or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, it just a few of them made me kind of wistful, where I'm just like, I really wish I could see the thing he's describing.
So but in order for him to like, he want to do that to finish it the best he could, because it had been this great like unfinished thing that was like loomed large in his mind. And so he did so in like May '88, and so it premiered at Cannes, and it was nominated, didn't win for Uncertain Regard. So obviously it was something where
you did win.
I don't. That is a good question.
I mean, how could it not win something? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What was it up against?
Well, it won. There's a Polish film festival award for the Museum of Cinematography. It won for that.
Yeah, because inside of Cannes, they had this thing where it's this guy was bringing the Polish banned films, like a bunch of them. So he was playing a lot of them, and he was doing it because it's like they were like I mean, it's still kind of the end of the Cold War. So it's obviously like very, like, it's controversial. We're doing Cold War shit where people stuck their films out of Poland, and we're like breaking down the Iron Curtain.
Of him at Cannes, like introducing it, kind of broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, when he's like introducing it, I'm kind of like, oh man, like this, like it's such a monumental like project.
The Palme d'Or was Pelle the Conqueror by Billy August.
All right. Sure. I believe you. I don't know what that is, but I bet my money would have been on Silver Globe. But
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, you might have won other stuff. I was just the.
Okay, so the
Willow closed out the 1988 Con Festival.
Oh wow, okay.
Willow.
It's in Willow. I mean, hey, I like Willow.
I like Willow too, but yeah, it was okay. All right, Shern City.
Oh, Shern City. Yeah, I'm gonna be your landlord.
The priests start to believe that Merrick was an outcast from the earth rather than a messiah who came to fulfill the religious prophecy. Whoops! How quickly they turn.
We heard this. Did you get cuckolded? Look. I don't
have a messiah who gets cuckolded. Sorry, like, it's the law.
I don't believe it personally, but this rumors were flying around that I had to ask.
It's a Shern thing, but like we kind of need them to be on board with this.
They do know everything that's going on in your mind. I'm surprised they weren't like, hey, your girlfriend's fucking the guy who gets to he gets to just be on the cozy job where he gets to be on the big computer screen and he's like, I sent the other guy to the planet.
To my romantic rival to a different planet. Great.
And then his girlfriend's already tired of him too, and it's like clear, like they're not like it's clearly miserable. She's like, I'm tired of this. And he's like, let us fuck, and she's like, I do not want to fuck you. No, go back, go to. And then she sends him to the planet, and it's like, he wanted to be alone on this planet.
It gets too late. Merrick is stoned and then crucified. So true. I mean, this is some pretty, heady religious overtones. Not since Kenneth Anger, is there been?
Oh, he fucks it. Like the whole thing is he's supposed to defeat the that's his whole you're supposed to defeat the Sherrans, and then he shows that everyone's been people have been I think some of the most jarring shots in the whole thing are the men put up on those pikes that are stabbed because they're birds, so they can drop people down. The first time I was like, wow, they really put them up there. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, right, they're birds. They dropped them onto the pike. Like,
they're like.
But there's there's I don't know. There's 15 of them, and they all have people on it.
And they were going up on there, filming their stuff, and then sliding down, and then drinking a bunch of vodka and trying to warm up, and then he had them go back up afterwards, to get more coverage.
One guy was miserable.
Yeah. So a lot of this kind of pairs with the Ken Russell The Devils, which at this point would have been 4 years earlier, something along those lines, relatively recent.
We should do that, by the way.
Do The Devils? Oh, I'd be way down to that. Yeah,
I'm keen as a bean. I rewatched it 3 weeks ago.
Eileen did a episode of it on Film Suck, and I was like, oh yeah, that'd be a really interesting one to cover. That'd be interesting.
We gotta close out our Żuławski thing by doing The Devil and his.
We do The Devil and The Devils. You Devil extravaganza.
Back. Yeah, let's do it.
That's actually, I've heard worse ideas. I pitched worse ideas. What am I saying? This is all very affecting. I think doubly so if you. When it was I have no idea why I was targeted. Maybe you saw all the crucifixion stuff. I don't know. That's maybe that I don't. Maybe that's something to do with it. Maybe it didn't. But it seems like when you're
chill up, Ryan. What they say. Some things in life are bad. They can really make you mad. I did have a thought that the end of it, you cut out the sound in the end of it, and you just put always look on the bright side.
Always look on the bright side of life. You could do an edit of it, where you do that. That would be for 4 people, 2 of which are on stream right now. I have
on the Silver Globe downloaded to my computer in the full HD now. So it's I was thinking about doing that, but then I was like, there's so much I need to do for the show. So
I know we have too much going on. Yeah, that would be
and for the 5-6 hours of election coverage that we did the other day.
Anyway,
there was I had one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh, even the crucifixion is weird because it's not a cross, but it's like a cross. It's just different enough that it's they had it explained to them. I'm assuming at some point like the Christian the story was explained to them, but it's like they didn't really know what a cross was, so they crucify him onto like this thing that's vaguely kind of cross-like.
Right.
And
Well, and that's interesting too, because it's
hand,
like
too.
that. It's a generational game of telephone of
Yeah, it looks
details
like it's like
changing.
a telephone pole with a U kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
They had bought like a synthetic hand to do this with, and it just didn't look realistic. So Żuławski and like a couple of the special effects people went to an actual like the morgue hospital, like one of those medical schools, and they got a literal hand, like
You got an actual hand. Wow.
yeah.
All right.
So when you see the hand getting pounded by the
Oh yeah,
nail,
that's
it's an actual like
actual.
hand.
Also, the visual of that scene, like with the crucifixion, like now we've got like we've gone through all of these different people, the different like we got the bloody tribal kind of thing, we got the churns, we got all this stuff, and now we're at the crucifixion, and they got blonde bulb cuts and kind of green makeup on. You know what I mean? In the scene, it's kind of like there's so many like polarizing like visuals and the colors and like everything. But yeah,
and again, this movie never lets up with like the arresting visuals. And we mentioned the the methodology that was used later for both Peter Jackson, Sam Raimi, like in the early Evil Dead's, like that sort of fast moving camera. That's like it's just these technological marvels at the time that just wasn't done in film. But like a lot of the visuals just have to do with them just like being in these places, these crazy places that look like otherworldly. If you weren't like on a beach holiday like those people in that earlier picture Forrest put up, you're like, wow, that does look indeed like an alien planet, or it's a beach.
That's probably the best day that any of those Polish people have ever had.
Right. Yeah. It's a beach, but it's like, yeah, they got beaches in space too.
I got to go to the beach once. It was fun. I had a good day at the beach. Okay, that's the best day a Polish guy's ever had.
All right.
So many extras as well. Like just
I had to look at this to be like, am I just being racist right now? But something about Polish, the way, like at least in the kind of the hysterical tempo of this movie, it almost sounds like Japanese, or like it sounds like an East Asian language to me a little bit, like the way that the Polish was being spoken at least. And I ended up like getting down a rabbit hole where it's like there's these weird connections between Polish and Asiatic languages. You're like, no, that's not something that's like just in your head. Like there's actual similarities there between some of the early Asian languages and Polish. And I'm like, okay, good. I'm not just, I don't know. There's something about it that reminded me of like it reminded me of like a Kurosawa movie or something. Like,
yeah, I could see that. And like Żuławski even like said that like the books themselves were like incredibly sad and depressing, which is like what he like vibed with on them, because like
he was sad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because he it fit his mood, right?
It probably is a great feeling though. Like if your great uncle like wrote these like crazy books or whatever, like bleak books, and you're like going through like massive depression, and you're like, my great uncle felt this too. Like I bet there's like a transcendental feeling there where you're like that. I bet there's like a feeling that it's like that feels like kind of good, where you're like this is like a melancholy of the centuries or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that holds true.
Did you also get cuckolded by your actress girlfriend? And his uncle's like, yes, I did. And he's like, wow.
There's also a cool there's also like a cool link between his great uncle. What do you I can't like reverse it. It's like, you know what I mean? Like great nephew and great, is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look at all that shit.
Grand nephew.
Yeah. Like he had like all these like really cool people stay with him, like at the time when he was like writing this and stuff. And he had like a really influential anthropologist like staying with him, and like they were kind of talking about how like the documentation and all that kind of stuff kind of like mixed with that, with him hanging out with this guy who was like one of the kind of pioneering guys.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. By the way, the Wikipedia entry for the books, it's like Ghostbusters level. Like it's like there's so much detail. It's like the other end of it. Like, oh my god,
yeah.
That's why reading 5 hours from now.
That's why I said like I got all these details from that, like reading through the entirety of it. I got fascinated by it. Which I don't know. My ADHD kind of gets me down these crazy. Does Polish sound like Japanese? And also
I feel like the books are like going into like Reddit, even though it's not. You know what I mean? Like it's like for this film, the books are like going into like the deep dark like Reddit, but it's like the lore and the like stuff,
which is insane for like 1903. Like, I mean, I guess like you can go back to like Odyssey and Iliad or something. That there's just so much that they kind of give you in like a short amount of space. But it's like I don't know. It just feels like the world that they're kind of trying to build, at least well, maybe it's not a world because it's the moon, but the moon that they're trying to build is very detailed. They're doing a lot of like real world building.
This third book sounds insane. So like I guess they first of all they have a civil war, no big deal, and then they take Merrick's two like subsidiary Selenite characters like fly back to Earth. Yeah, and they land in the Sahara Desert.
The Messiah thing where they were like this guy's gonna take us back to Earth. Whoever.
But they land in the Sahara Desert, so they think the Earth's uninhabited because they're in the Sahara, and then they find the Sphinx, and then they like with an Arab trader. Like this is like. There's no way you could. I mean, I'm amazed he fit the two books into one movie.
I can't believe you predicted Israel like that.
Oh, come on. And then they ban books and like
it really is a Ghostbusters level. Although the third one is not as long. The other ones are like paragraph. They said the second one is the most complicated out of all of them.
Well, and then the whole thing ends with like anti-intellectual authoritarian regimes consolidating their hold on power on Earth and the moon.
You didn't need to go to the moon for that.
Yeah, exactly. You got that at home.
You live in Poland in the 1910s.
They abolish science. Anyway, whatever. It's crazy. None of that's in this movie, which has plenty of plot. But
it just sounds like Tsarist Russia. It's like you didn't have to go all the way to the moon to find that.
Well, it's interesting because if you think about the source material, who did you have? You had like H.G. Wells, right? Jules Verne. That's about it, right? I mean, if you think about it, like in terms of this,
it's funny that the interpretations part literally just says. Has likely been influenced by H.G. Wells, Jules Verne.
Who else would it be? I mean, like there was nothing really of its like in that way, and the
only other person the only other like, which is kind of funny. The only other person that they've kind of compared him to in the thing is Stanislaus Lem, who wrote Solaris.
He did, but that was way later. Stanislaus Lem wasn't born until 1921.
But I'm saying, like in the interpretation,
this guy was
that's the only other one that really come up with.
Yeah, I mean, Lem which I've read Solaris. I like it better than the movie. Either one.
But yeah, that was the 60s. But it's just funny that like that's the next thing that they could really come up because they would have to do like 3. They're like, oh, what else can we throw in there?
Anyway, on the Silver Globe, that's the plot summary, such as it is. We're trying to give as much context as possible. This is a movie you really have to see.
It's on.
I firmly believe it.
You can't. You can't like just say, "Hey, this is a film about blah" to anyone. You have to. No. It's actually one of those situations where it's like you must see it yourself.
This is a movie about poles on the moon.
For the arresting visuals alone, for the filmatic technique, with the crane shots and the handheld stuff that is just literally decades ahead of its time, and for the sort of sliding doors esqueness of it, that this was being filmed the same year as Star Wars, the same time. It's crazy. It's crazy how ahead of its time this was. But how different it feels than literally anything else. But I mean, to say that it's like Dune, before Dune had ever been adapted is kind of true. And literally the books were written before Dune. So Herbert, got some words for you.
They have on YouTube, if you type in On the Silver Globe English sub, the one I saw was Arcanum Naturae. They managed to preserve like the quality a lot more than the other ones. But and they had the actual they had the subs I think on the actual thing instead of like because I was trying to download it for the.
Oh, as separate files or something. Well, so here's my question: where's Criterion? Where's Criterion for this? You know, come on, this is the perfect
it wasn't,
Criterion.
It was put out by another one of those companies that got the right, or I don't know if it's got the rights, but it's they had a release, a Blu-ray release, and it's a different
it's
different one of those companies.
Well, I think that whoever has the rights should absolutely positively make sure that it's available. Not through a website that feels like you're going to download a Trojan, a virus, and it's 17 pounds of cookies that are going to track everything you do for the next 15 years.
Yeah, I think you can internet. What's it called? Internet Archive. They do have. I think they have a copy as well. That's not all funky, but yeah, there's. Why isn't someone streaming it? Yeah, that like yet makes.
Well, I don't know. There's a bunch of them on YouTube for free. And,
yeah, there is.
But why isn't there like a good like?
Oh,
so here's what I would do.
Movie's playing it, guys.
It was on Netflix.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Movie,
Netflix,
movie has it.
Netflix had it at one point, but it's one of those ones where they have a page for it, and then it's just like
disappears.
Yeah.
I would say right. So the one you talked about, Forrest, there's at the time of this recording, there is that Arcanium Nature account has a decent rip of it that's like the full thing, but this should have a nice physical release. You get the documentary with it, you know, you get all the attendant, because there's so much. We could just do a podcast that doesn't even.
So Mondo Vision released 4K Blu-ray edition with over 5 hours of extras.
Yeah, I think they got
right.
it. I think they got it before Criterion. I couldn't remember the name of the. They got it. They got it before Criterion could.
Yeah, and then there's someone called Eureka Entertainment, Masters of Cinema, who did it prior. But yeah, the Mondo Vision version seems to be the most elite one.
Okay, well, good on you guys, Mondo Vision. That's it.
They have a I only saw a couple minutes of it. They have they have like an extra documentary that's like a long conversation with Żuławski that somebody made in like the 70s or 80s or not, I don't actually, might have been the early 2000s. Somebody made this documentary a while back about the making of it, but it's like a 47-minute documentary. It's not like the one where it's everybody. So it's mostly Żuławski, I think, they're talking about it with.
Right.
But there's like 3 minutes of the documentary on YouTube, and it's interesting. He's like just kind of bitching about stuff.
Yeah. As one does. Yes. Yeah, cool. So there's a 4K UHD of that, and then all right. So yeah, I mean, go get that. Went to the Mondo website and I got a certificate warning. So I was like, doesn't bode well. But yeah, on the Silver Globe. All right. So of course, Letterboxd. I can't believe I'm doing this bit for this movie, but here we are. Letterboxd, of course, is a film site for film lovers talk out within to each other about the movies that they love, maybe the movies they didn't love.
This would be more a Letterboxd paragraph because they're always monologue.
Yeah, you're stepping on the bit, because I was gonna say maybe the movies that you just either write a 4-page essay on or just say, "Bro, I was so confused." And of course, this is a bottom-up democracy. Everybody gets to have their say. Everyone gets to chime in a plan about the movies, not just Siskel's and Eberts of the world. And these are collected weekly by yours truly for Forrest and the panel, which in this case is Renee, to react to in real time. That's what this bit is. These are the Letterboxd one-liners, believe it or not, for On the Silver Globe. Let's go. Guys, it's really hard to be a god. Like, so hard.
Guys, it is really hard to be a god. Like, so hard. You're getting cuckolded left and right. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. The cuckolding alone, it's not worth it. It's like you think you'd be a god, you wouldn't have to worry about that kind of thing. But here we are. Even in a truncated form, or maybe because of it, this goes hard as hell.
Yeah. There's a couple of things though, like, oh man, I wish they shot it. But for the most part, I think, we got like the meat of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Fred Willard in a mighty wind voice. What happened? That's my favorite, by the way. What happened? Did I understand this? No. Did I thoroughly enjoy it? Yes.
Someone had a really good I don't know, I was reading like a Reddit thing or whatever, and they were just like, look, just you pick out like just a few thematic points and just continually pay attention to those throughout. And it's like you have to read it that way rather than like trying to grab it all at once. And then obviously you're probably watching more than once, but it's they're like, just pick out some thematic elements that like come across the film and then kind of put them into a patchwork. And I was like, that makes a lot more sense than trying to digest all of this.
I needed whatever the fuck Polish filmmakers were on during the 70s and 80s.
Probably a beverage with a lot of C's and X's and Z's. All their words.
Hashtag release the Snyder cut.
No.
Snyder's on the Silver Globe. Can you imagine?
He just takes all the blue and all these like all the cool colors and just they're gone.
Yeah.
Gray.
Exactly. A little washed out. I've never been so confused in my whole life.
So I like the first time watching this through, that's how I felt. And I wrote something on like Letterboxd where I was like, look, I'm gonna have to watch this again and then give like a longer review because right now I don't know.
It takes a while to like, yeah. When I first watched it, I was like, I'm gonna think about this for a little bit before I type anything.
Yeah.
Like the Books of Jacob, but with weird space turkeys. I think you need to watch this 10 more times to figure out what's happening. There you go. Space turkeys. Being God sucks.
Yeah. They never tell you that.
Yeah. Rarely is it mentioned. Those are the Letterboxd one-liners, believe it or not. For on the Silver Globe, you can follow the show at our Letterboxd HQ account at Movie Night Extra, where we have all the attendant short-form content from this very show, as well as long-form write-ups and lists, theme months, all the various things that we do.
I don't have like Letterboxd or otherwise. I don't have the self-discipline to like write something as short for a movie like this as just Being God sucks. Like it is a good summation, but it's like, yeah, I just don't have that. Like, I'm just like, I want people to know, like, I really watched it.
Yeah. Well, it's not. Yeah. I mean, there's a longer story to that as well. One of the reasons why that bit exists is it's extremely not my thing.
Yeah.
Like, extremely. I am the dead opposite of that.
It's Christina's thing on Letterboxd.
I
don't think she wants to be on there that much. Just.
I can't go either way. I'm like torn. I want to write an essay, but I can't because it'll keep going. I'm like a thesis type person. If I write one thing, it's got to be super funny, but it's not enough. So I kind of just don't. I just do the numbers.
I just end up trying to say something that like maybe other people like that I haven't seen yet or something, and then it's like I end up writing a bunch of stuff, and it's like, I don't know, like, what the fuck am I trying to prove? I'm just logging movies. Like,
please follow your host, Man on the Moon, at Always Flacco, so you can see exactly what he's talking about. Is being Hamlet on the app over there.
A lot of Batman.
a lot of Batman these days. Yeah. I'm the Astronaut Messiah at Conan Neutron. Follow me along for the highbrow, the midbrow, the populous fair. Literally just watched the new Spider-Man movie. Very good, by the way. Very good. Of course, I'm a Spider-Man fan.
Eileen liked it, and she does not like such things.
Yeah, it's the best live action Spider-Man movie since the first two Raimi ones.
Where
and I say that very serious.
When I don't think I'm gonna watch it in theaters, but when it's streaming, I might have to watch it.
And then follow me along as well for the Criterion Challenge 2026. I'm most of the way through it, but still going through a couple. Though I just watched Breaking the Waves, the Lars von Trier movie, which was about as, I mean, I knew what I was getting into. I know what Lars von Trier does, like I knew it, but I was like, this is going to be quite the stunning contrast between Batman Begins and Spider-Man, and then Breaking the Waves in between. Like, okay.
And on the Silver Globe, it's like
on the Silver Globe, yeah, Rouge too. Yeah, I'm all over the place.
This was like a much needed, I think, breather, because I watched way too much Batman in a row.
I suppose this is a safe enough space. doing blockbuster month and then the Nolan Batmans. I am so exhausted from that type of movie. Like I all I want to see is like art house stuff right now. Like I have no desire. Like the only reason I want to go see Spider-Man is every time I logged into Facebook.com, I saw 15 different spoilers like 8 hours after it came out. Where I'm like, why is this? I never asked for this.
Spider-Man goes into the metaverse.
Yeah. When he does this, and I'm like, you're saying this like we all have seen this movie. Some of us like don't watch things the day it comes out. Sorry. Anyway.
I kind of like binged the entire. I don't know why I did it to myself. I should have just paced myself, but I binged all three Nolan Batmans in a row.
Oh,
and
man,
then
that's a lot.
And then I went and saw The Invite.
Oh man!
And then I watched the first Tim Burton Batman, and then I watched On the Silver Globe.
Oh man! Oh god!
Yeah, I'm super excited for Teenage Sex and Death of Cat Miasma.
Oh wow!
I'm super excited for that.
I'm dying.
It's not playing anywhere near me. I may have to watch it on the drive out to tour. I'm not even kidding, because it's not playing anywhere in the state of Wisconsin that I'm aware of, which is sadly very on brand. But I'm really looking forward to that.
They put out this video of like Hannah Einbender like looking hot as fuck, but she had like blood all over her, but also like her ass was kind of out, and like you know, like, and she's wearing like this really like skimpy shirt, but also covered in blood. And I was like, I don't know, I have conflicting feelings right now.
Well, it had me at Gillian Anderson. So.
Gillian Anderson is the other lead. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's I thought very highly of I saw the TV Glow, and I'm very excited for this. Let's put it that way. We'll see. I'm very excited for it, and I'm very excited it's a different kind of movie that's not a gigantic blockbuster, because I'm just getting sick of this crap, frankly. If I had to do this for a job, man, I'd be getting paid good, and I wouldn't be, but I've enjoyed every episode we've done. Proud we are of all of them. I'm just saying.
Batman shows up at Camp Miasma.
Yeah, I'm sitting here like, you know,
I'm Camp Miasma. Let me in.
You know what helped make this Lars von Trier movie more interesting? If Batman showed up. Yes, we got Spider-Man swinging through. There's Samantha Morton whores herself out to a subway command.
Nymphomaniac in Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Yeah, exactly. Where's that crossover? Anyway, at Renee Bruin. Renee's on your Letterboxd as well. Please follow her. She doesn't do the long form reviews, but please follow her because I said so. God damn it. That's why I say to do it. She's one of my favorite people. Let's hit it with the plugs.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end, because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going, since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra, where we're putting up short form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
Jesus Christ. I mean, we're so earlier today in our current timeline, I had Michael Hampton of Parliament Funkadelic on.
Nice.
The guitar player, Kid Funkadelic, the guy who took over Eddie Hazel's. Great conversation, super cool, really good stuff. And then earlier this week on my normal slot,
I never could swim.
the normal slot, I have Blog Dolly of the Dwarves on, which also was a great episode as well. Both those are patreon.com/Protonic $1 a month advance access in the main feed next week. ProtonicReversal.com for the archives. Dave Ketching of my friend Dave Ketching from Desert Sessions, Rancho de la Luna, Queens of Stone Age, Eagles of Death Metal, Earthlings, what have you. Going to be on for the first time since I want to say 2018. I didn't realize it had been that long, but like he launched his mezcal brand and so many other things since then. We recorded the Household Gods record at his studio. I mean, there's so much stuff has happened since then. A whole pandemic has happened. So that'll be happening Monday because I'm just going nuts with those Protonic episodes before I leave for tour with Conan, Neutron, The Secret Friends. Of course, West Coast tour coming up with the Null, playing San Francisco, Sacramento, Portland, Eureka, Portland, Seattle with the Null, and then the Caterpillar West on September 4th and 5th in Los Angeles, Permanent Records with Mike Watt, Gay Atheist, Elephant Rifle, so many great bands. CaterwallWest.com for advanced tickets for that. Those are up and selling now. Not a big place, people. Not a big place, people. So if you're looking to go, you should buy advanced tickets. And Jumpstart Plowhars are playing on the Friday, which also has Mike Watt, and it's Todd from Toys to Kill and FYP and whatnot. And Mike Watt and the Second Men are playing Our Day, which is the organ band. So it's the Missing Men, which is like the power trio that's with guitar. This is with organ, and it's pretty cool. So check that out, CaterwallWest.com. And then Detroit, Milwaukee, and Minneapolis, the 11th, 12th, and 13th of September. That's everything. It's confirmed. NeutronFriends.com, NeutronFriends.bandcamp.com for the new record. We have a new Brian Walsby t-shirt that is going to be unveiled. You would have thought it would have been yesterday for Bandcamp Friday, but no, it will be out probably next week for pre-orders, and we'll also have them on this tour coming up. So check that out.
Nice. Are you gonna see Tony? Apparently it's we just got like the because we're all the A24 mailing list thing. Talking about how
the one Matt Johnson's Tony.
Yeah, but Jay McCarroll is doing the soundtrack, and it's like
and Dominic Sessa's playing.
Yeah.
I'm interested in it. You know, I'm gonna have to.
I heard like it's.
But I hear this is good. I mean,
I've heard it's interesting. It's like a small slice of a kitchen confessional. So it's like
so that's doing the right thing, not trying to do something.
The very first couple chapters, and after like they did the whole thing with Blackberry, so it's kind of trying to follow along.
I like Blackberry, and Matt Johnson directed that too. So that's
that's why I said it. But they're talking about how he kind of takes that same approach, but it's like just trying to do something more interesting, I guess, that usually. But then there's all these things that are like, I don't know if a kind of cheery kind of fun one of these biopics. We all know what happened to Anthony Bourdain, and it's like, yeah, but not then.
Yeah. Well, look, I've been a fan of Dominic Sessa since Holdovers, and I'm excited to see him do anything. Again, without knowing the people involved, that would be a pitch. I'm miss me with that, frankly. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it should be good. I'll give it a shot.
Of I definitely buy with this part of Bourdain's thing, whatever. This period of his life, or whatever, he was kind of playing hooky from Vassar. So it's like, he ended up going to the Massachusetts kind of seaside because he just didn't want to be in Poughkeepsie, stuck there. And I'm like,
picking his feet.
Yeah, but I'm like, I feel your brother. It kind of sucks. The Vassar campus is kind of nice, but it's like, I don't know. He was going for English lit or something, which is not what you think Tony Bourdain. I mean, it's like a.
Anyway, stay tuned for that. Apparently,
I like Bourdain. I don't know if it'll be a good film, but I like Bourdain, so I'll watch it.
I don't know if anyone's saying amazing, but it's like they're saying that it's decent. It's a small slice of kitchen confessional, so it's it's a very small period of his
life.
Chef.
Well, that dude's lived a lot of life, so or lived a lot of life. All right.
Well, the whole thing with him too is that
oh my God, we're over 2 hours. Can we wrap this up, please?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Renee, what do you got for plugs?
Look, I'm not going to plug much. Come follow me on everything as normal. Renee Ruin on absolutely everything. In 2 weeks, on night shift, I'll be doing Suspiria, which is also one of my favorite evers. So I'm really excited for that one. So come watch that. That'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
I'm a huge,
I
I'm
was
a
in,
huge Argento fan. So
when I was in
Somebody
Italy-
asked me if the night shift was a spin-off of Movie Night Extravaganza.
oh, there you go.
And I said, let me think about that. And I was like, not really, but you could make a case,
Yeah.
I guess.
on our
I like saying it's like our sister cousin.
Yeah.
on our cocky days, you can make a.
Oh yeah, exactly. Depending on how way.
I was in when I was in Italy in May, I watched Suspiria on like a big TV at one of the Airbnbs.
So you got that coming up when now?
Yeah, so that is on the 22nd and 23rd. So yeah, I'm pumped for that. I'm really excited for that one because
that's gonna be
it's
great.
love.
You got the ladies back,
girls.
got the coven back. The coven's back.
Yeah.
Really. I'll drop another mixtape soon. It's nearly ready. And
I see you've been going kind of going ham with those like music reviews and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I should mention that. Yeah, I set up a Substack to just read other people's Substacks. And then
that's what I did too. Yeah.
We have this movie night one that we've never posted to.
Yeah,
we do?
and then I noticed people were checking it out. So
I just use it to read other people's Substacks.
Yeah, people were checking it out, and then I realized
then I judge them. I've never seen a Substack that I really like, so I just kind of feel judgmental about whatever everyone's Substack.
Yeah, well, there's the notes and stuff, so it's kind of like Twitter.
I just think people need an editor. Like people need editors. Like it's just we've taken away the edit. We've taken away editing as a thing now, and it's like no, that's the thing you should keep. You you guys need that.
You're telling me this episode's 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 59 seconds. You're telling me we need editing.
But yeah. So if you can check out Substack, Renee on Substack. I've got such a backlog of amazing content, and a lot of amazing music interviews, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm I'm actually going through and repurposing, bringing a lot of that back, flashback, so you can.
Well, because that's how I know you. Which henceforth is why you know the rest of us and why everyone from this world knows you is because you had the homie Paho on. And then then we just became friends after that.
Yeah. Paho will be in Australia soon, actually.
Which is funny because we recorded that at Rancho de la Luna, Dave Ketching's place. Dave Ketching's on Monday. So it's all connected, people. It's all connected.
Renee, let's hear some final thoughts.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I summed it up, I guess, at the beginning of the show. This is a massive.
Forrest should just be judgmentally looking at you while you try to get your final thoughts together.
You need an editor for response.
No, I love this film. This every single time I've watched it, it just is something epically amazing. The way it looks, the way it makes you feel. As I said earlier in the show, it's completely unflinching. It's agonizing at times, shit you can't look away from, but I feel like the story and the way the film was made is part and parcel of the whole thing, and just it's this kind of dark meditation on humanity. I feel like it's kind of like our inevitable tendency to create structures and hierarchy and religion and violence and mythology, all of that stuff, power. And when given the opportunity to start again, we do the damn same thing. So it's kind of depressing. But it's for me, every time I watch it, I get something else out of it. And I love being able to talk to other people who've seen this movie and appreciate it as well. And just the way it was made, the visuals, everything about this film. I could talk forever about this film. I could talk for another 2 hours on it. So for me, it's a great film. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. As I said, you got to lock in. I think it's becoming very apparent that I'm really a Żuławski fan.
We gotta finish at least our trifecta with the devil.
Yeah,
trifecta with the devil.
That could be any number of things.
Yeah, I mean it's bleak, it's physical, it's aggressive, it's violent, but kind of exactly how life is, exactly how humanity is. So I think, I love it. The monologues are crazy. the philosophical side of everything is just, love it.
Conan, let's hear those final thoughts.
Yeah, so I mean, there is no movie like this, period, full stop. This is, I called it ambitious non-Euclidean geometry sci-fi. I stand by that. But it doesn't, what I like most about it is it doesn't try to tell you how important that it is. It just is.
Yeah.
I mentioned that aggressive handheld style that later emulated by Peter Jackson, Blair Witch Project, Cloverfield, all that. Some really thrilling and kind of dangerous seeming cinematography going on a lot with the shots. It's crazy to think of an entire world in mythology as complex and far-reaching as Herbert's Dune, but like filming in like random forest deserts, caved, and like disused military bases and landing it. Like totally landing it. And then like to have your own government, in this case, the Polish Communist Party, fighting and sabotaging you, hiding and destroying and ruining your footage. Like, it's like cops busted up a transcendental basement punk rock show. We covered the plot as best we could with what we have. Books worth of wild stuff happens in between each sentence. Like Renee said, we like 3 more hours on this, and it would be a totally different show, right? And that's kind of one of the things that's really cool about it. I mean, this is a film that relentlessly swings for the fences at every moment, and it connects more often than not. It's very symbolic. So I think if you're capable of filling in the blanks with your imagination and any of the missing parts that are sublimated by the narration, that you'll find it very rewarding, especially in multiple watches. And the first time I thought it was Buñuel's Exterminating Angel, where it says you basically have a very compelling film with actors like stuck in a room. So Żuławski made like a pretty stunning humanist existential sci-fi masterpiece that definitely more thrilling than any of the Star Wars prequels, or anything Michael Bay's done. Even in recent examples, Prometheus tried to do some of this with exponentially more budget, but it came off as like tiresome and joyless to me. And what I would, to sum it up, I'll say Żuławski does more with Tom Baker era Doctor Who costumes, blue filters, and chemicals that turn fire green than any of those. People like to invoke Jodorowsky a lot, who I personally think is wildly overrated. But this is, Eastern Bloc ennui that transcends over and over again. There's a lot of action histrionics and melodrama, but in a good way. It's deeply melodramatic. It's epic in scope. It is so horny. This movie is so horned up, but it's fascinating. It pulls you right along.
That was gonna be my joke. I was gonna say Jodorowsky's doing like maybe this is what it was gonna.
Absolutely. So go find it if you're possible get that release. Find it if you're someone that watch things on YouTube. Apparently, there's a pretty good rip of it on YouTube. Once again, there's no movie like this. And if you're someone that's interested, if that sentence excites you rather than like annoys you or fills you with ambivalence, then you need to check it out on the Silver Globe. And also, if you haven't seen it, if you listened to this entire episode, you're welcome. / I'm sorry.
Couple things. So instead of doing a Tuesday episode, we're doing Wednesday. Tuesday on this space, we're going to be doing election coverage again.
Oh yeah, for our governor's race in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
right.
for old Wisconsin over there, and I think there's a couple other states I want to say doing it on Tuesday as well. So yeah, we're gonna be doing another thing of that. Last time was 5 hours and 45 minutes. I hope it's not as long this time because that kind of killed my brain, and people are yelling at me because of some of the election coverage because we played annoying music and they got mad at me, and I had someone yell at me and say I like you guys, why did you do this to me? We played 3 weird Charlie Kirk remixes that people were pulling up. And we were just bored because we were just waiting for fucking stupid Kornacki to call it, and he didn't even call it. We finally gave up, but we played 3 remixes of Weird Charlie Kirk, and people got very angry at me and us.
Oh man, I would have been pretty angry too. To be fair.
So I just like the comment of, I was like, I like you guys. Why did you do this to me? On my Instagram, and I was like, I don't know, I was trying to carry the thing. But yeah, so Dark Knight on Wednesday and Dark Knight Rises on the Tuesday after that.
What a change up. Yeah, boy.
And after that, we're kind of going on tour. We're taking a little bit of a break for a couple weeks, which much needed, I think, at this point.
You're fucking telling me.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not a break
I'm
for you.
gonna
You're touring, but
take a break by touring across country. But
Yeah.
okay, yeah. No,
But,
but, I mean,
yeah.
it's we had a good look. I'm glad we did the Blockbuster month. I'm glad we did the Road to Disclosure Day or whatever the hell we called it. I'm glad we did the Nolan Batmans. But yeah, it's enough.
Lars von Trier's The House That Bruce Built. Bruce Wayne, you know.
Oh, there. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I got it. Yeah. That goes back to the Lars von Trier movie with Batman. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So thanks for hanging out. As
Lars von Trier's the Batman.
On the Silver Globe. Fun times. Glad I saw this. I hope something happens to the Possession set, and they're just like, you know what?
We can't.
All the costumes got caught in a fire or something. No one got harmed. I'm not advocating harming people, but I'm just saying maybe the costumes all burn up and they can't make the movie anymore. I would feel like that would be the best outcome for all of us.
And Renee, thank you as always. We love to have you.
Yeah, thanks for being on.